The elite of the elite, I'm talking about CEOs, billionaires, presidents, and prime ministers, are in Davos, Switzerland for the World Economic Forum. And they are worried, not about a global recession, because they always find a way to make more money. We should be worried about a recession, but they, the elites, are meeting in the Alps and worried about themselves. It's great. The worry in Davos, writes a Washington Post columnist, is globalization is under siege. Let me translate that for you. The rich elites are worried, and it's about time. They get power from globalization. They get to cozy up to China in the name of a liberal, rules-based world order. They get to lecture all of us about climate change. Now would be the time we show you all the private jets, literally hundreds of them, that each bring one or two people to the conclave. But that's easy and shoddy journalism and, frankly, lazy. Them losing power is way more fun and way more important. The Washington Post notes that in 2017, Davos loved Xi Jinping of China. Xi himself keynoted the proceedings with a speech defending globalization that cast China as the upholder of the liberal order, and everybody bought it. It was seen then as a statement of intent from a leader keen to seize the mantle of global leadership, and a thinly veiled jab at the newly installed ultra-nationalist Trump administration bent on populist disruption. Now the populists are winning, not just in the U.S., where it's both on the left and the right, but in Italy and in a dozen or so other countries. When populists win, the globalists lose. With that, we bring in Jennifer Say, former brand president at Levi's, author of Levi's Unbuttoned, The Woke Mob Took My Job But Gave Me My Voice, and Vince Coglianese, editorial director for The Daily Caller. Vince, start with you. What are they going to do in Davos?
Well, they're going to have a very self-aggrandizing event this week where they talk about how they're also powerful and influential and how ultimately they're running the show. It was funny because John Kerry, who is the climate czar for the Biden administration, is one of the top American officials who's there. And he said today that by the virtue of the fact that all of the people in that room were touched at some point in their life, they've been put in the position of great responsibility and power. He's speaking of it almost like a religion, like they're the anointed. And so as a result, they're responsible for the rest of us. But the rest of us look at this event as nothing but a bunch of self-inflated people who are wielding actually far too much power over the affairs of common men, claiming that they're helping the little guy, when in fact it's the little guy who has to pay the price to enhance the profits of the people who go to this event.
Yeah, and clearly they're worried that they're losing that power. We are going to get to the John Kerry sound in 1 second, but I wanted to ask Jennifer this. Globalism is bad, right? And we can all agree that having this group of people sort of in control and out for themselves and sort of this global order and not out for individuals and for our freedoms as Americans, which this robs us of. At the same time, though, the populism has its own dangers.
Look, everything is dangerous, but these people are self-appointed, hyper corporate, hyper capitalist. They're leaders, and they have appointed themselves because they are very rich. So they think they deserve to be in power of what the rest of us do and decide what the rest of us do, and essentially do an end run around democracy. They are trying to insulate global public policy making from democratically elected leaders, which we still do have in many parts of the world. Who says they get to do this? They're corporate elites. Their goal is the bottom line every time. It's profits. I worked in a large corporation, a Fortune 500 company for many years. They don't care about you. They don't care what your family needs. They flatten the rest of us in terms of what we need for their own agenda. They decide what we need. But you're right. The people are rising up. We don't want this centralization. These people don't know what's good for us. They don't know what's good for me and my family in Denver, and they don't care.
No, it's clear that they don't care, because the not caring is what gives them the power. John Kerry, as Vince said.
It's pretty extraordinary that we, select group of human beings, because of whatever touched us at some point in our lives, are able to sit in a room and come together and actually talk about saving the planet. So how do we get there? Money, 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 money.
Not their money, all of our money, in case anyone was confused about that, Vince. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.